All right, today we're jumping into one of the most bizarre and honestly one of the most tragic character stories in the entire Honey Boy saga. We're talking about Lettuce Boy. It's a wild ride of betrayal, revenge, and yes, an army made completely out of salad. So let's get right into it.
My lettuce legion will crush them all. I mean, that's the threat that kicks this whole thing off. It's a declaration of war from our main antagonist, Lettuce Boy. He's already captured our hero, Honey Boy, and as we're about to find out, his reasons for all this, they come from a very, very deep and painful place.
Right, so who is this guy and how in the world do you even get an army of salad to follow you? To really get a handle on the villain, we first have to see the mess he's made in the present, and then we're gonna rewind and figure out how it all went so incredibly wrong for him.
Okay, let's set the scene here. We are at the absolute height of the crisis. Honey Boy's friends are totally scattered, and they're dealing with two separate and equally weird hostage situations. The stakes, they have never been higher.
So the situation is it's a mess. Honey Boy, who's really the heart of the whole group, is a prisoner of Lettuce Boy. And at the exact same time, Kevin, the guy who holds them all together, is trapped by a totally different group. So that leaves Batman Boy trying to come up with a plan, Space Boy on orbital support, and the Beekeeper, well, he's the total wild card they might just end up needing.
So the team is basically fighting a two-front war. On one side, you've got Lettuce Boy and his salad army holding Honey Boy captive in some ice cave. And on the other, you've got this mysterious crew called the Evil Babies, who've somehow managed to trap Kevin in a fortress made of cardboard. The heroes have no other choice but to split up. So where does an army of lettuce even come from? I mean, it doesn't just spring up out of the ground fully formed. To really understand what drives Lettuce Boy, we have to go back, way back, and see what could possibly make someone, or, some lettuce, so unbelievably angry.
And this is where it all begins. It's not about a thirst for power or some big ideology. It starts with pure heartbreak. As just a kid, a baby Lettuce Boy, he gets kicked out of his own home. His own parents tell him they can't stand him and just cast him out into the world, all alone.
And what happens next is just this brutal domino effect. That first rejection, it sets him on this path where every single hand that seems to offer help is, in the end, just pulled away and replaced with a brand new threat. Just try to imagine this for a second. You're a little kid, you've just been thrown out by your family, and you're just wandering around in a world that seems totally hostile and confusing. All you want is a friend, some kind of connection. And that vulnerability, it gets tested immediately.
So his very first encounter is with this guy, Fork Boy. And there's no reason for it, no provocation. Fork Boy just looks like he's about to attack him. It just reinforces this idea in his head that the world is a dangerous place and he's the target. But then, just when you think it's all hopeless, there's this little glimmer of hope. Rabbit Boy shows up. He seems nice, he offers friendship, the one thing baby Lettuce Boy is so desperate for. And for a minute, it really seems like his luck might have finally turned around.
And just like that, the offer of friendship turns out to be a complete lie. Rabbit Boy leads him home, but not to be a friend. He offers him up as lunch. The one thing he wanted, a friend, was just the bait in a trap. It's an absolutely devastating betrayal. So, after escaping the rabbits, his heart is, understandably hardening. He can't trust anyone. But then one last person shows up, Zebra Boy. He's this self-proclaimed frat boy who seems to be offering protection from all the dangers out there.
Zebra Boy calls him lame, but he promises him a safe place, a hideout. He even runs off the rabbits. He seems like a genuine, if kinda weird savior, and Lettuce Boy, desperate for any port in a storm, agrees to follow him.
And this is the final and most absurd betrayal of all. The safe place Zebra Boy promised him, it turns out to be a one-way trip to the land of the dinosaurs. It's a prank with deadly consequences, and it cements this belief in Lettuce Boy's mind that no one, absolutely no one, can be trusted. I mean, you can see the pattern so clearly. It's just this tragic timeline of cruelty. Kicked out, attacked, betrayed, and finally deceived. And it's right there, in the land of the dinosaurs, that he makes his vow. I'll never trust anyone again. I'll get you all. The villain is officially born.
So, that's the gut-wrenching origin story. Now let's flash forward, back to the present. With Honey Boy and Kevin both captured, the rescue missions are officially a go. But the heroes aren't just fighting an army of salad. They're fighting the ghost of every single one of those betrayals.
So the heroes split into two teams, and they have two very different approaches. Batman Boy and Space Boy come up with a classic infiltration plan to save Kevin. Create a distraction, use a precision space laser. Simple enough. The Beekeeper, on the other hand, well, he has a much more direct method for dealing with the Lettuce Legion.
You see, the Beekeeper doesn't really see himself as a hero. He operates by a simple and kind of chilling philosophy. He's not there to negotiate or talk things out. He's just there to restore balance to the system. And he corrects it, all right? In this absolutely shocking turn of events, the Beekeeper single-handedly ends the entire siege by eating the entire Lettuce Legion. Lettuce Boy, who built this whole army out of his own pain, can only stand there and watch in horror as it's all consumed, leaving him defeated and alone yet again.
So victory here comes at a price. Honey Boy is free, sure, but he's completely traumatized by how violent the solution was. He's haunted by what he calls the salad screams. It really forces you to ask, was this brutal correction really a heroic act? So, with Lettuce Boy defeated and both Honey Boy and Kevin rescued, the immediate crisis is over. But the conflict has created some brand new dynamics and left a few loose threads just hanging there, hinting at what might be coming next.
Hey, remember those other antagonists? The evil babies who had Kevin? Well, after their plan gets foiled, we hear this tiny but incredibly important bit of dialogue from them. They're not just evil, they're lonely. They hear someone calling their name and their first thought is a desperate hope for friendship. Does that sound familiar at all?
And that's the cycle we're left watching. One villain, forged from loneliness and betrayal, has been brutally swept off the board. But now, in his place, another group is popping up, and they're defined by that exact same loneliness and a desperate need for a friend. It leaves us all with one pretty haunting question.